Where does power really lie? Not Westminster, but Reading, Berkshire, and an office wall in a business park, the UK electricity grid in digital form, where the race is on.
This is heartbeat of the energy system. So what you see on the wall here now is a map of Great Britain with turned on its side. And a really important graph up there then is the zero carbon generation graph.
Making a reality of a big choice by Labour, that the electricity you can see on these screens comes from renewables by 2030. Here's how it started a year ago.
We've all been there, patiently forming an orderly queue, waiting our turn. But then hang on a minute, what's going on in front of us? They're not even ready. That's exactly what's been happening for years and years with our energy system.
We're changing that. It's time to get the queue moving. And after all, what could be more British than forming an orderly queue?
But here's how it's going now. Fields untouched, projects on hold. Renewable companies struggling to get permission to connect to the national grid as the new energy quango responsible moves and misses its targets.
The number of batteries that we would have on this site from a single charge could power around 35,000 households for a whole day.
They picked this site because of the old coal-fired power station next door, already plugged into the heart of the grid. But replicating that hit the buffers, with the new nationalised grid operator struggling to cope with the demands of ministers.
We originally applied to connect to the local electricity network in the end of 2020. We were hoping that the site would be energised by now. We expect the site to be operational somewhere towards the end of 2028, 2029.
6 years to get to a point where you haven't yet got permission to connect to the grid.
It's disappointing. We obviously hoped that the project would be built by now. We're really starting to face a time when we need to get these projects and others built as quickly as possible.
Everyone accepts that this was going to be difficult, but energy industry sources tell me that these reforms have been badly handled. One said that it has been farce and full-on omnishambles. Another, that they're looking to Europe to invest now rather than the UK. Is this another example of an ambitious target going off track?
Experts say Ed Miliband's clean power goal is only just achievable. The renewables industry need ministers to grit problems at once.
This is the biggest investment we've seen in our grid since the 1960s. It's desperately needed, and it's important that we do things properly.
What we've been hearing is the frustration of companies ready to go that should be pretty much at the top of the queue, just not getting replies. There is just a sense that government bodies need to get a better grip of this.
I think you're right. I think the big challenge here is one of coordination. So you've got lots of different actors in this space, the transmission operators, the power generators, the system operator.
Grid connections and the delays are the responsibility of this man, head of the new government-owned energy company.
At one stage there was well over 700 gigawatts of generation and storage projects in the queue. To give you some sense of scale, that's enough to power more than 500 million homes. This reform has taken time, undoubtedly, but also it is absolutely necessary that we take a step back and reform the queue.
Do you accept that we've ended up relying on fossil fuels probably as a result of that, for much longer than we could have done?
I don't think so. So I think that we had a process for connecting to the grid that was patently not fit for purpose. And what we're doing is actually transforming that and getting to a point where we are going to prioritise those projects that are aligned with sort of government's plan, or their Clean Power 2030 action plan.
This matters to every household and business. Delays continue our reliance on foreign gas, meaning the government's target is further away. They want 95% of British power to be generated by clean sources by 2030. Last year, that figure was 73%, made up of renewables in green and nuclear in yellow. The plan is to scale that up quickly, but last year less new capacity was added than in 2024 and much less than the peak in 2015. Reversing Tory opposition to onshore wind will take years to see. Chris Start leads mission control for Ed Miliband, trying to make 2030 clean power happen in practice.
We went to a field in Loughborough which should have a battery farm right now supplying energy to homes all around that region, yet everybody's now still relying on gas in an energy crisis. That's the consequence of the failure to go faster.
Look, you're reflecting a frustration which I share there. We could have had it on the system sooner. You're right, it would have displaced some of the gas generation that we have in the fleet across Britain right now. We took the decision to make a difficult decision to pause the connections so that we could go faster after that. I stand by that decision.
How confident are you about still hitting Clean Power 2030?
Very confident about hitting where we need to be by 2030.
To deliver this goal, which this government says is incredibly important, it requires political stability. Would you agree with that?
You've got to have stability in government, you've got to have stability in the key institutions. We're in the middle of another fossil fuel price crisis. This is a very good reminder that what we're doing secures us against the next crisis when it comes along. That only comes when you have leadership from the top.
Ministers have unpicked the system, but consumers need them to maintain focus and avoid political distractions to put it back together again. Fresh chaos in Westminster could derail that. SAMCOATES, Sky News, Loughborough.